Good evening. Gibraltar will go to the polls in exactly 1 week. Your choice will shape the political future of Gibraltar over the next 4 years and beyond. We believe it is time to turn a new leaf for Gibraltar, with decisions taken collectively in a collegiate cabinet-style government, with ministers subject to a code of conduct, with openness and transparency in every government decision, with a motivated and more effective public service. Whether it is on health, education, transport, the environment, social services, or any other area of government, the needs and the impact on our citizens will be the first and foremost consideration. Our policies on all of these areas are included in our manifesto, which has been released this week, and which sets out what we believe is a historic programme for government, a programme designed to benefit each and every citizen. The future of Gibraltar depends on an efficient public service, on a successful tourist and finance centre industry, on good economic management by the government. Our future depends on all of these things, but above all, it depends on the education of our children. Our children will be the entrepreneurs of tomorrow, the finance centre workers, the civil servants, the skilled tradesmen that Gibraltar requires for both the public and private sector. That is why we place at the very top of our list of our priorities the education of our children. Education in Gibraltar is already of a high standard. We can nonetheless make it even better. And we will do so by providing additional investment and developing a social partnership with teachers, educators and their representative bodies, as we have already started to do. Last week, we explained in a press conference our policies on education. Let me summarize these policies. We will expand the complement of permanent and pensionable teachers from 333 to 380, an increase of 47 teachers. We will eradicate the practice of engaging supply teachers on so-called permanent supply. We will reduce class sizes by setting the maximum number of pupils in each class at all levels of the education system, so that the education that our children receive is more personal and is improved. Additional support will be provided for children with disabilities and other special educational needs. We will provide a dedicated maintenance staff for schools and establish a permanent programme of refurbishment for our schools. Head teachers will have control of a budget which they can use for maintenance or minor works. We will also increase the secretarial and administrative support for our schools and the Department of Education. Our commitments are in line with the wishes expressed by the Gibraltar Teachers Association. We have also said in our manifesto that we will provide for all middle schools to be of an equal size, something which the Gibraltar Teachers Association has also called for. I have been asked this week whether Gibraltar needs an extra 47 teachers. We would not need 47 new teachers if we decided to keep everything as it is, with supply workers on supply for 3 or 4 years, with classes which in some cases exceed 30 pupils, with insufficient teaching resources for children with disabilities and special needs. We have decided to change all of this. The result of our policies and investment in education will be to create a highly motivated body of professionals and raise educational standards to even higher levels. Importantly, if we are elected into government, the professionals in the Department of Education and in schools, and not the government, will decide how best to use the additional resources. Of course, we will provide a steer on policy, and we will be on hand to listen to advice and provide the political input which may be necessary. However, management decisions are for management and not for government. And this will apply not just to the education department, but across the whole of the public service, where civil and public servants will be given the responsibility of managing their departments, with ministerial support, but without the minister acting as if he or she was the head of department. This summer, we congratulated students who achieved success in their GCSEs and A-levels. We also said that we must not forget those who are less academic, or those who did not obtain the grades they were hoping for. Gibraltar must be proud of those students who do well in their exams and go off to university or decide to obtain employment. Gibraltar must also be just as proud of those who prefer a more vocational route and wish to acquire skills which are required across a broad range of sectors of our economy, from the mechanical, electrical and building trades to the hospitality, finance sector and gaming industries. By working in partnership with the private sector and identifying the needs of the public sector, a GSLP Liberal administration will provide training for our youth and for those who are currently unemployed who want to take part in our future job strategy, with a guaranteed job at the end of the training. Each of these trainees, including those on the Youth Training Scheme, will be paid the standard minimum wage of £912.60 a month for the duration of their training. We will also provide research positions for returning graduates who are not able to obtain other employment. We have been criticised by the GSD for our future job strategy and our policy of creating opportunities for graduates. We are told that this is patronising to graduates and that we are creating fictitious low-paid jobs. That criticism comes from a GSD government who currently have almost 500 youngsters in the Youth Training Scheme who are paid half the minimum wage, and in some cases even less than that. Let us be clear about one thing. We will not be forcing anyone, either graduates or anyone else, to take up any position. We will simply be providing them with employment and training opportunities with full contracts of employment and employment rights. What the GSD is saying is that those employment and training opportunities should not be provided. The alternative to these opportunities is that these youngsters would be unemployed, without the ability to earn a decent wage and care where appropriate for their families, and without the ability to apply for a mortgage. We make no apology whatsoever for giving top priority to education and to providing employment for our youth. The success of the Gibraltar economy depends on our students and other youngsters acquiring the necessary qualifications and skills which are required. We need to plan for Gibraltar's future needs and provide the training required to meet those needs. That is precisely what we are committed to doing. No one can possibly say that this objective is anything other than good for our students, good for our youth, and good for Gibraltar. We are very excited about our programme for government, and I would urge you to look carefully at all of our policies as outlined in our manifesto. We will be publishing next week specific dates for implementation of each and every policy. In that way, our progress can be monitored and we can be held fully and properly to account. We will not disappoint. Place your confidence in us and let us together give our children, give Gibraltar a bright future full of opportunities. Thank you for listening.
Someone that can truly understand. Time for change, time for change. It's time to rearrange, to help all those who need a helping hand.
The future is in our hands. Take a good look around. Need someone that hears our demands. This time we can make it count.
There is hope in the air. There's a will to declare that it's time for change, time for change. It's time for some new blood, for someone that can truly understand. Time for change, time for change. It's time to rearrange, to help all those who need a helping hand. It's time for change, time for change. It's time for some new blood, for someone that can truly understand. Time for change, time for change. It's time to rearrange, to help all those who need a helping hand. Time for change.